Hello and welcome to this episode of the AI Show. I'm excited to be here. Your friendly host here, Seth Juarez. We got a really good show for you today. I'm excited for that. Before we go to that, I'm going to side of the eye. Side of the eye. Tell us where you're coming from. Say hello. Next week. I'll tell you about that next week. But side of the eye, where you're coming from. I'm excited to be here. Like I said, we got two good stuff, and particularly, interestingly enough. Let me bring up my screen so I can tell you what we're doing today. Entire screen. Here we go. Boom. Today on the AI Show, as you know, I put the little screen up there. Foundry Local. With Maanav. I want to make sure I spell his name. When I did the show, I said his name wrong. I felt so bad. Maanav. Now he's looking at this. He's like, wow, Seth. Wow. Oh, shoot. I just dropped my pen. Wow, Seth. Wow. How did you do that? Maanav. So he's here. Awesome dude. We got some good stuff with him. Foundry Local. And this, we'll talk about, obviously we'll talk about it when he's here, but it's kind of going to unlock some scenarios. Not going to lie. And then number two, we released this video earlier on, we released this video earlier, but I wanted to bring it on here and show it live. Hopefully Elijah will come. Is Elijah coming? I don't know. Rhiannon, she's our producer. Maybe she'll tell me. We have something called The New. Yes, he should be. I love it. Look at this. The New. Agent. Hold on. I got to have I used to have a sound effect for The New. Oh, I'm pushing. The New Agent Framework. The New Agent Framework. The New Agent Framework. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. The New Agent Framework. What button did I push? I disappeared for a second. The New Agent Framework. This is with Elijah. Also an awesome dude. Wow, I just disappeared for a second. Rhiannon, our producer, is like, what is going on, Seth? What are you doing? Maybe I pushed mute or something. Gosh, I'm so bad at this. So bad. No, I'm back. I'm sorry. Yeah, I pushed the button and I must have skinny fingered, fat fingered something. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, the New Agent Framework with Elijah. Hopefully it was just for a second. Gosh, Rhiannon, was that, did I disappear for a long time or was it half a second? It wasn't long. Whew. This could have been embarrassing for all of us. You know what I'm saying? For all of us. The New Agent Framework. And then if we have some time left over, I'll show you what I'm working on. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Hello, my friend. Oh, I think let me change something. There we go. Hello, my friend, indeed. I don't know. Maybe I like this one. My face isn't covered up. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing. Okay, so we have that. Hello, my friend. Ajmal. And sorry if I'm looking to the side. This is because at the side of the eye, this thing, because I got another screen here. Let's see, chat. Let's go to the chat. Hello, my friend Richard from Canada. Oh, I think I remember last time Richard and I have a discussion. By the way, I learn really well when I say a dogmatic statement that I don't 100% believe, and then someone corrects me. So we had one of those last time. Richard, thank you for coming. Hello from Austin and Dallas. Austin. Hi, Austin from Dallas. I got confused. It's like Forrest Gump, right? Austin from Dallas. Remember when they were out in the... I was going to say something dumb, like he's in Austin and Dallas. Austin is a multiphasic being. Silvestre. Hola de México. Bienvenido, mi amigo. Mi madre es de México. If you didn't understand that, I said my mom is from Mexico. I lived there when I was a kid, Guadalajara. So, and then I also lived in Spain for a couple of years, for 2 years in southern Spain. So my Spanish is weird. Weird. Here's a question. Do you use a mouse or a pen to write? During the pandemic, I made a pandemic purchase, a Wacom tablet. Wacom tablet. So I can do really cool stuff like write like that. It's amazing. Yes, we got okay, Seth Janiscu number 7. He's the one holding up the room in Twitch. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Hello from India. Yes, he's from I know Austin. I got it. These are the jokes. Apologies for them. All right. I think Maanav is here, but I don't see his camera on. Let's just try it. You know what I'm saying? YOLO. All right, so let's bring him up. Maanav, can you hear me? He's typing. I pushed the wrong one. He's typing. He's here. Okay. Can you speak? All right. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna. We'll figure this out. He's here to answer questions. So if you have questions, just put them in the chat. But without further ado, let's get into it here. Foundry Local with Maanav, my friend. Let's take it away. You're not going to want to miss this episode of the AI Show. We talk all about unlocking AI potential with Foundry Local Integration for GitHub Copilot in VS Code. Make sure you tune in. Hello, welcome to this episode of the AI Show. We're talking all about unlocking AI potential with Foundry Local Integration for GitHub Copilot in VS Code. My friend Maanav, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Seth, I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. So tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a PM on the Foundry Local team, and I'm really excited to be here. It's AI Show is amazing, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Foundry Local.
So why don't we start with before we get into like the GitHub stuff? Can you give us a little like introduction to Foundry Local, why it's important, and why should people think about it?
Yeah, totally. I mean, so local AI has been on top of my mind forever, but I feel like it's probably important for everyone else to understand it. So I brought some slides to kind of talk about that. Local AI can be used in so many different places, but let's talk about why you might want to use it first. So privacy and security is paramount. Whether you be a bank, working with taxes or anything else, a lot of people care about their data a lot. And a lot of these public services are not really privacy and security focused. They're focused on providing you information quickly. So local AI, running your own models, you get to choose what that privacy and security looks like. Latency and low bandwidth is also relevant, but I think that really what that comes down to at the end of the day is just you can run these models offline. That's really, really important because maybe you don't always have access to the internet. I know I've been able to do that a lot when I'm on like a flight or something, and I'm like, great, I want to use LLMs to do things for me, but I can't because I don't have internet. Well, with local AI, I can do that. And then cost efficiency is also really important because these can get expensive. I don't know about you all, but I am subscribed to a couple AI services, and it can be really challenging when you have so many to look at. And I'm sure you've maybe had the same experience.
Yes.
So with the case with local AI, as long as my hardware is good enough, I can run whatever I want for completely free outside of electricity costs.
And then the last one is that the fact that I'm looking at all of these apps that are like, if I want to use an LLM in offline mode, I can see me wanting to do that here. So the question is, how does Foundry Local help?
Yeah, so we provide an interface, a model interface to, or rather an API interface to access this LLM on your device. So we spin up a server for you, and we have a lot of great things going on the back end. Over here, you can see Onyx Runtime is what we're using. And if you're familiar with the open model or the open source model space, you know that we already have that set up for like other models everywhere. And the beauty of it is really that it's cross-platform, but also that it really accelerates all of the things that you're doing in terms of inference. So when it comes to these models, whether it be NVIDIA hardware you have, AMD hardware you have, Intel hardware you have, or Qualcomm hardware you have, whether you're on Windows, Mac OS, it doesn't really matter. We provide really, really good acceleration, and we work with these hardware vendors directly. So using that goodness of Onyx Runtime that's baked into Foundry Local, we ensure that you get some great inference performance, and that's really, really important.
Yeah, and I've played with Foundry Local, and it's really cool. It's almost like you have your own like mini LLM, but running on like an endpoint on your local device, which is super cool. All right, so now let's talk about the GitHub Copilot in VS Code integration. What is this all about? Because now this is, because I think I've heard this. This is the part I have not heard about. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this is new. I did bring a demo, but before we jump into that, I just want to quickly summarize what's going on. In GitHub Copilot, you can choose models just like everyone else, and that's based on what you like. With Foundry Local, we can bring the models that we want to use with GitHub Copilot, and unlike with the subscription that you typically have to pay, these are completely free because you can run them on your own device. So without further ado, let's just jump into the demo.
All right, let's do that.
Hi, today I'll be covering running local models using AI Toolkit from Visual Studio Code via Foundry Local. So to get started, if you haven't already, install the extension, and you can go ahead by searching for AI Toolkit in the extension store. And go ahead and download that and install it in VS Code. Once you've done that, you're going to have two more prerequisites: GitHub Copilot and GitHub Copilot Chat. They should install together, and you'll have this little button that kind of shows up. You can go ahead and toggle the chat and open it, and we're going to be in ask mode for this. Then we're going to go ahead and click Manage Models. If it's your first time, it may take a second to load. Go ahead and click Foundry Local via AI Toolkit, and it'll load a set of models that are compatible with your device. Now, I'm going to choose the Quen models, and I'm going to choose a 1.5 billion model since I don't have the greatest processor right now, and we'll go ahead and add those. Now in the pane, we should see these. I've already had these installed, but if you don't, it'll prompt you when you click the models to start running them. Now, as expected, we can use them with VS Code and GitHub Copilot Chat to answer questions about our code. So I'm going to take a look at this payload, use the CUDA version since I have a CUDA device, and I'll go ahead and ask, tell me about this file. It'll take a second to load the model into memory, and then we should be off to the races. As you can see over here, while it's working, my GPU is loading into memory and it's being used. And we got some information about this file. That's wonderful. Now let's go ahead and look at edit mode and try again. Let's have it make a quick change. Again, it's going to go ahead and using the GPU, it'll make the edit to the temperature, and we can keep that change. Now I've headed back into ask mode for one last sample. I'm going to have it generate another sample JSON. And we can use this also to write functions similarly, and it'll go ahead and do that. And in this case, it has questions for Tokyo. I hope this was a great intro to using AI Toolkit and Foundry Local to run local models on device. Just as a reminder, they're completely free, and we have models for CPU, GPU, and NPU. So regardless of what device you're using, you can use the power of local models.
That was awesome. Holy
Yeah,
cow!
I'm
Holy
such a
cow! That so let me get to this, because I think you had a couple more slides that I want to get to, because I want people to understand what's actually going on. So effectively, there is a model running on your box that now, whenever you do GitHub Copilot stuff in VS Code, it's just using that model.
Exactly. So on device, you're not pulling anything else. You're not paying for any credits. It's just your own device.
Now, here's a question, and now maybe you can like lay the cards out. Some of these models are not going to be as good as the bigger models, right? So, in your experience, when would you use these models versus the other ones? And what have you sort of been feeling out with the smaller models that are running on local device?
Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing question. I think for me personally, there are certain situations where you do want to use the biggest models, right?
Yeah.
When you're doing in-depth research, I know deep research is like a really great use for those large models. Up-to-date information, we will have tool calling support very shortly, but in the meantime, accessing the internet and using tools of that sort, you do want the latest models. But for things that aren't necessarily super large, I
Yeah.
think anything that you want quickly done, this is a great example. So whether you're building it into apps, because I think that's the main key use for Foundry Local, you're doing short searches, summarization. Like there's so many great AI things in the GPT-4, for example, era, or the GPT-4o era, where we even support GPT-OSS. That's a great example. But these smaller models that can do really, really smart things, we don't need to use the largest model in the world.
I feel you. So you're saying, like, hey, if there's regular, like, standard text things, like summarize this so that it's more concise, or things that you would use a tiny model for, you should totally use. So, like, if you're on the plane and you're editing like your documentation, use the smaller models, because those would totally work.
I mean, I'll give you a great example. I was filling out some government documentation, some paperwork, and I was literally on a plane, and I was just like, great, I do not want to write all of this information, but I'll write bullet points for you. Great purpose, right? I just spun up Foundry Local, had a chat window open, and just gave it my bullet points, and it turned it into like a large paragraph for me because I just didn't want to go through the effort of writing.
That is amazing. So let's there was two more slides, because I want people to know how this is working underneath. Tell us about what we're looking at here.
Yeah, so it's just a quick demo of what's going on. So Azure AI Foundry is where we actually host all these models, and we're able to pull those in. And then we have the management service that's kind of happening on device, as well as we have Onyx Runtime all the way under the bed, which is based on your hardware, making sure to optimize. We have this all baked into Windows AI Foundry. So I think 24H2 and onwards, we're using whatever execution providers you have, whether that be CUDA, Windows, Vitis for AMD, or Qualcomm as well. So even if you have an NPO on device, we're just kind of solving that whole problem for you. You don't have to figure out what drivers to install, which packages to install. Once you have Foundry Local installed, you're just kind of good to go. And whether that be through AI Toolkit or that just be locally as a package via Winget or Brew, you're just good to go.
And the cool thing, and here's the thing that most people don't know, because I heard about, and I'll bring up the next slide so people get conscious. Windows ML, I heard about Windows ML like probably 2 or 3 years ago. And so it's a really, really sort of baked in thing to Windows. How does Windows make this better? Tell us about Windows ML.
Yeah, so WinML, I think the GA was very recent, but what that allows us to do is we, just have the acceleration just baked in. I think that's like the simplest way. I don't want to complicate too much, but just it just makes it so easy to deliver the packages that we need, because a lot of them are just going to be on device already now.
Yeah. And the thing that I learned about before, because this was, maybe I shouldn't have said it was years ago, but I saw the internals of this stuff years ago. And I remember the engineers were telling me, you know what's cool about this, Seth? The fact that you can just use the Onyx runtime, and as an operating system, we will choose the hardware that's the best, that's actually sitting in your box. So you don't have to be doing like, because sometimes if I have to write a CUDA thing versus a CPU thing, completely different thing. And now same for the NPU, the Onyx runtime in Windows ML helps you sort of do this without thinking about it.
Exactly. We're just removing that from the users in terms of difficulty. You just don't have to deal with it, and it just works the way that you need to. Actually, if you could pull up that slide really quickly.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
People can understand that there's many different ways to interface with Foundry Local. Whether you use the CLI itself, we have SDK options, and then you can also just call REST API straight to the endpoint that the server spins up for you. So there's a lot of ways to work with this, and we have C++, C#, Python, JavaScript, like whatever you want. And I think even the community's been contributing Rust bindings. So just lots of options. So you can use this however you want to.
I think I missed this part. So if you don't mind, maybe I can like sort of pull that thread a little bit. There's a Foundry Local Management SDK that allows you to execute these models without having to call an endpoint.
Yeah, so it's it's effectively wrapping that just so it's a little bit easier for you to do. But yeah, whether you want to download models, run off the service, actually spin like do inference, all that is just enabled a little bit easier with the SDK, just so that
I see.
we're not calling direct endpoints, and then because we make sure to dynamically allocate these ports sometimes for security and safety reasons, we don't have to figure out what that is on the user's device.
I see. So if you're running this on your device, you basically start Foundry Local. It's a service, it's running, and then it loads. It has models that are loaded and unloaded. It depends on the ones that you want. And then if you use the SDK, it just knows how to talk to that natively without you having to specify the endpoint, put in a fake key, because I remember there's no key for this because it's local. You don't have to do any of that stuff.
Exactly. It just
that
makes it
sense.
That much easier. And so we want this to be really easy to ship with applications, and just being able to do that without having to go through the effort or the harder effort of development just makes that really easy, so that we can just package this with anything that we need to, send it off, and then all of a sudden, your local like applications are just using AI out of the box for free for your users.
Oh, this is amazing. Like just for folks, I have to do a workshop I think coming up in a couple of weeks, and I got to get people to use LLMs and play with them. I could literally just have them all install Foundry Local, and they could be doing it irrespective of what the internet's like in that workshop. This will all still just work.
Exactly.
This is amazing. Where can people go to find out more? I know there's a blog here. Tell us about this.
Yeah, this is a great way to get started. We have the AI toolkit and GitHub Copilot integration at this blog, so that's a great place to get started. Otherwise, on GitHub, we have Foundry Local, so just go ahead and search that. Or we have Learn Docs as well, whether you want to get started there. But awesome, there's amazing links there, and you can just get started and get going. It really is one-line install, whether you're on Windows or Mac OS, and you can just get off to the races.
This is amazing, Maanav. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much for the time, Seth. It was really glad being here.
And thank you so much for watching and learning all about how to unlock AI potential with Foundry Local Integration for GitHub Copilot and VS Code ++, because we talked about a lot more too with Foundry Local stuff that I did not know about. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care. Dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Seth. I had a great time.
Let's just that's how we know it was good, and then some clapping here for you. So that was the evergreen one. Have you seen people use some of this stuff? Like, and I know it's Foundry Local for GitHub Copilot. I know that's what it was all about, but I think it's much larger than that. What's the reaction been to folks in Foundry Local?
I think people are really excited about specific use cases that local AI are really good for. I think I can't say names, but the people like banks or like tax firms who love the concept, right? Because people want to have tax AI used in tax, for example, but they also don't want all of their information kind of going to used in training or just to give to other companies. And the beauty of local AI is I can have the power of AI, but then not lose my information or my privacy that I really care about, and then make taxes easier, for example, or make banking information easier. So I think that customers like that have been really, really interested. Even stuff like searching through your chats or something. There's people that we're talking to where it's I want to use AI to search through my chats, but I don't want necessarily insert big company here having access to all of my chat information. I can do that with local AI.
Yeah, and the other thing is when you do computation, like the JavaScript in particular has been moving a lot of stuff that used to be done on the back end of the front end, right? Mm-hmm. There's a way to now to start separate the silly, simpler tasks with LLMs, and then moving some of the harder, bigger tasks to the back end, which to me is absolutely what has happened in computing since the beginning of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember just back in the day, having to write little web scrapers or something, for anything, right? Yeah. It's just I need, it takes a long time to figure out how to use this package or do this crazy thing, and now it's just I can ask a smaller model to do all this stuff really easily for me and not have to worry about kind of figuring that out myself. And I think that's really where this local AI it's really, really useful.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. It seems like the weird thing is that video, it looks like I'm wearing the same shirt. I only have
I
one
did
shirt
not
from.
come so prepared.
No, that was not on purpose. I was like, oh no, now everyone's gonna know that I have the same shirt on Mondays.
Do you have a schedule? Do you have a routine?
No, I don't. Manav is like, what the heck? You have a schedule for your shirt? No, I don't. That would be insane, right?
Yeah.
So here's some comments from Janice number 7. Windows ML with honest runtime and hybrid compute in one. Yeah, no, that's not the one I wanted. He was saying Windows. Oh shoot, here it is. Windows ML is so good. Yeah, it is.
It's really cool. I don't know. We GA'd recently. We had a big celebration for it internally, and we're just really happy that this long, like you mentioned, this long thought out pipeline is finally where we want it to be in GA for all devices. I think 24 H2 onwards.
Yeah, and I know I said I had seen Windows ML. It's been in the works for a while, but the thing about it that's cool is that using this stuff on device is cool. In fact, Manav, I was so inspired by it. I literally downloaded it like the minute after we did everything, and I started playing with it. So I'm pretty excited. Trying to get it to work with Agent Framework. There's still some mismatches.
There's some interplay that we're working. Yeah, sure.
But maybe I'll do some pull requests because like I said, I have a workshop next week in Lisbon where
awesome.
I'm gonna try to do Foundry Local and Agent Framework and put them together. So I'm still.
That's so cool.
All right, dude. Well, thank you so much for being with us, bud.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Agent Framework demo.
I know. I have to finish it this week. So there is that. All right, bud. It's good seeing you.
Yep. Have a good one. Thank you.
All right, my friends. That was Manav. What a good dude. Like, he's like, I work with some good folks, like some seriously really smart. And I'm working on some features right now for the next version of whatever we put out, and our engineers are just absolutely stellar. So I get to work with some really, really, really cool people. Okay. So coming up next, we have Elijah. He'll probably be here in a little bit. But I thought maybe we'll take a minute, and as we go here, because we have some time before, I wanted to show you Foundry Local, if that's okay. So let's go back to our screen share here, and let's open this up over here, and let me go to Foundry Local. Let me not show that thing. Foundry Local. I know you can't see. I need to move. Okay, here we go. Foundry Local. What is Foundry Local? Foundry Local. Let's see here. What is Foundry Local? Indeed. Foundry Local is available in preview, public preview, release, private, early access. Use cases. Do I need to add your subscription? Niet. And you're probably wondering why would a company like Microsoft do this? Well, it's because we really want you to use LLMs. And the reality is, if you want to put an LLM thing into production, to me, this is like the new primitive for developers. LLMs. Do I need special drivers for MPU acceleration? I guess so. But I think if you have like a service device, it just works. I know I have a service device that's like a Qualcomm, and it literally works. Follow the Get Started with Foundry guide to help get started. So get started. New MPUs are supported only on systems running Windows 24 H2 or higher. Yeah. If you see a service connection error after installation, Foundry. So yeah, this is what I did. I did a winget, and it looks like it works on Mac OS. And then do a Foundry. So here we go. So Foundry model list. Oh, ilsit. Foundry model list. I downloaded a couple of models already. So these are all the models that are available, right? Looks like we have a DeepSeek R1. We have a 5.4. And notice that you have different versions of them, right? You have like a CUDA, generic GPU. I installed 5.4 mini. 5.4 mini, which we have. So how do I know which one? Foundry model help. Foundry, and this is still preview stuff, so take a look at it. So there we go. There's a cache, discover, run, and manage models. Foundry model help. So I installed a couple. I don't remember which one I did. Foundry model least. Yeah, I think I installed Quen. Oh, I did not install GPT OSS. So let's do this. Let me show you how to do this. Foundry model load or install or download. Boop. Oh jeez. Foundry model help. There it is. Foundry model model download, and then boom. Here we go. I wonder how big this is. Oh, it's big. So we got a minute to kill here, friends. So what should we talk about? By the way, like I'm downloading the actual GPT OSS 20 billion parameters CUDA GPT-1. I think like there's certain models that only work on a GPU. So let me I've got my other screen here. Sorry. I want to show you just because I want to see this actually working. Make sure I'm not revealing anything I shouldn't be. Where is this? No, here we go. So I have a lot of GPU. You can see right here, I have a GeForce 4080, which is not new, but it's not old either, right? I think the 5090 or the 5080 is the new one. And I have quite a bit of RAM, right? So while this model is big, it's 9 gigabytes. I can fit it safely in RAM. I can fit it all safely in RAM, which is nice. Okay, so did we finish? Yes. So Foundry Cache LS. These are all the models I have installed. Oh. Foundry model load GPT OSS 20B. Here we go. Loading the model. There we go. Let's see our RAM and stuff go up here in a hot second. Foundry model run GPT OSS 20B. Hi. Here we go. Let's see. Let's put this down here so we can see all the haps. All the happenings. There, we'll boop. We'll do this, and then I'll put this down so it looks like. What can you do? And then here, do you see this GPU thing? Boo! What can you do? Thinking. Beep 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 beep. Whoa! Look at this. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Write a limerick about amazing GPUs. Oh, some of these things are so chatty. Ooh. By the way, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Like it's pegging my GPU right now. Wow, these. You know, some models are super chatty. I should have prompted it better. Wow. Okay, GPT OSS. You do you. All right, do you see that? Like this. Whoop. All the way down. All right. Let's get back to the show. I want to make sure that we get back to it. We have coming up Elijah and the agent framework, and then maybe we'll try to see if we can get them both to work together. What do you think? Should we do that? But before further ado, let's turn it over to Elijah and agent framework. Take it away. You're not going to want to miss this episode of the AI Show. We talk all about the new agent framework for next-gen multi-agent solutions. My friend Elijah, make sure you tune in. Hello and welcome to this episode of the AI Show. We're talking all about the new agent framework for next-gen multi-agent solutions. My friend Elijah. Elijah, how you doing, my friend?
Seth, good to be with you, my man. I'm doing really well.
We did a thing at the last thing where we got to work on demos. So Elijah and I we're what we call BFFs now. So tell everyone what you do at Microsoft.
Yeah, awesome. I'm a PM on the in the Azure AI Foundry team, specifically working on semantic kernel, AutoGen, and now the agent framework, which I'm super excited to be showing with you guys today. This is kind of a first look access to it. So it's exciting stuff.
Oh, I'm excited. So why don't we start first? What is it? Because I know there's a lot of options out there for doing agentic stuff, and there's a lot of options even from just Microsoft. Can you tell us about the agent framework and how we should start to think about this?
Would love to, Seth. So yeah, to get into it a little bit, we're living in an agentic world nowadays in San Francisco, and you can't go 5 minutes without slamming your head into an agent billboard, advertisement, etc. And as these and at Foundry, we're proud to have our own Azure AI Agent Foundry service. We worked on this heavily alongside Seth and some of our other colleagues to launch this back at Build in May. But now we've kind of gotten past just the need for a single agent and more into the realm of multi-agents. Single agents are really good for like very specific individual tasks. Whereas multi-agent systems can kind of accomplish a wide variety of tasks that require a diverse set of skills. If you think about a company, I'm really good at product management. We have great engineers on our team, great marketing folks, and everyone has their own individual skills. When we all come together as a team, that's when we're able to accomplish and ship cool products like the ones you're about to see today. And the same is true for multi-agent systems. An individual agent, like if you give it too much scope, it could get confused and whatnot. But when you have multiple agents working together, then you're able to accomplish these more interesting and complex tasks.
Yeah, I absolutely love this slide. I am gonna. Is it okay if I steal it for other things? Because
100%.
The fact is that we started with no agent, right? But it's kind of an agent, but not really. Its agency is limited to like just here's your completion. The single agent with tools and etc. is super good. But this multi-agent thing that you have here, there's so many options for how to string all of these string all of the things together, right? How do people decide what to do, and then what should they be doing once they've decided?
You know, that's a great question, Seth, and I'm going to talk about that here a little bit in a second, because I think there's a lot of different ways that you can fit multi-agent systems into the work that you're doing day to day. But I think the question that you posed so eloquently at the beginning is like, okay, but how do I even do this? How do I even get started with multi-agent systems? And that's where this awesome agent framework comes into play. So for a little bit of historical context, here at Microsoft, we had two different agent frameworks previously, AutoGen and semantic kernel. And for a little bit of history, AutoGen kind of came out of the Microsoft research side of the house. Semantic kernel came out of the product side of the house. And it was kind of, both had some great pros and cons to them. AutoGen was very lightweight. Semantic kernel was really good for production workloads, but it was oftentimes confusing which one you should use and when. And so what we've tried to do is bring the best of both worlds together into this Microsoft agent framework that you see here today. So we're super excited to announce that and be rolling it out to public preview this week.
I see. So the agent framework then, if you could go back to the previous slide, is a combination of both AutoGen and semantic kernel together. Like it's like the good bits smushed together in like a sandwich.
Absolutely. I think that's a perfect way to describe it. We're trying to bring the lightweight prototyping nature of AutoGen, we're working really closely with some folks at Microsoft Research to bring the latest and greatest into Microsoft Agent Framework. But then we also know especially in the enterprise, you need that heavy duty production workhorse that is semantic kernel and all of the customization features, et cetera, that exist in there. And so, yeah, we're bringing the best of both worlds to be able to prototype quickly, but then also to be able to deploy to production.
Now, is this going to be available in like C# and Python for both languages?
Yes, so great question. Fully open source. We are 100% committed to open source, and on day one, it will be in Python and C#, with hopefully other languages coming soon.
I love it. All right, what do we got next?
Awesome. So then to answer your question that you brought up earlier, Seth, is like, okay, but when do I use multi-agents and where do I fit this into my jobs day to day? And so we have kind of two different schools of thinking in it, where one is agent orchestration. And agent orchestration is, hey, I just want a bunch of purely non-deterministic agents to work together to accomplish some sort of task. And this can involve, as it says here, creative reasoning and decision-making, and leveraging those agents to accomplish a task like we were talking about earlier. However, what we're really excited for here with Agent Framework is this workflow orchestration. If you are familiar at all with Semantic Kernel Process Framework, I know we had a lot of fans of Semantic Kernel Process Framework. This allows you to bake into existing workflows multi-agents into that process to be able to combine traditional business processes with also these multi-agent solutions. And for me, this is really exciting because it kind of gives you the best of both worlds, Seth, is that you're able to take whatever workflows that you already have in your job, and I'm going to show an example of that here in a second, and then plug in agents where agents are really good. Because as we know, LLMs are really good at coding, natural language, research, etc. But then they struggle in other things of maybe trying to string together too many data sources or whatever it may be. So that this allows you to really tailor your solution to leverage the agents where they kind of fit the best, and then also like not have to completely reinvent the wheel and reinvent your business workflow.
Let me see if this makes sense. I got to mute myself here. So what you're saying is that now I can look at a business process that I may have at work, and I can actually model it as a collection of agents in a process framework. I don't even know what to say. You said product in sort of a process framework that allows you to literally get a bunch of agents to do this kind of work. Am I getting this right?
Yes, absolutely. And it allows also the agents to interface with, hey, you know, maybe I don't want to use an LLM for a certain task. I just want to use good old NumPy or a Python package or a C# package. Then you can just use that for those things that regular coding that doesn't invoke all the token costs. You can use your business processes. And then when it's like, hey, I know I actually really need some more like thinking or a nice report written, then you can bring in the LLM to help you do that.
And I love this. I mean, you know me. We work together pretty closely, and I'm a fan of not using LLMs when they're not needed. And if you have already existing business processes like file a claim that you just need to call an endpoint to, just do that. But allow an LLM to take an unstructured text and, for example, put it into the form of a claim, which is a really, really good idea. This is cool. So do you have anything to show us that kind of does something like this?
Absolutely. Let's jump. And I know Seth is the king of demos and taught me everything I know about demos. So we're going to jump into some demos here. Ooh. And so what we're going to do here is this is a workflow that I've put together to help venture capitalists. As I mentioned earlier, I live in San Francisco. A lot of VCs floating around, and so I thought, what's an existing event that exists in the VC space that I could help to automate and kind of bring in agents to an existing workflow. And so what we're going to be looking at here, and this was actually a SVG file that I was able to generate using our agent framework, is that it's a pitch deck parser. So basically, I'm going to take a pitch deck that a startup has sent me as a venture capitalist, and then be able to do a little bit of research, a little bit of analysis, and a little bit of hey, do I actually want to invest in this company? Yes and no, based on the suggestion of the AI. And this is going to involve, as you can see here, both traditional like processes of just like, hey, getting the research prepped and analyzing a slide deck, but then also I'm going to use some market and financial analyst agents, which you can see here in this sub workflow. And I'm going to run these at the same time to kind of get optimal performance there, if that makes sense. So here, I'm actually going to go ahead.
There you go. So effectively, you're basically modeling like how I would, like, what do I usually do when I look at like 1,000 pitch decks? I always go through this process. This is the process, but this diagram is drawn by the process framework after you've set it up, but you might also pre-draw one and then have the process framework and validate that the one that you drew by pencil works as well.
Absolutely. You can do it either way. And I think that's what's so cool about LLMs these days now too, is that you can really take images, give it to them and say, hey, turn this into code. This though is we have these great visualization features. We also have mermaid diagrams. I know a lot of people are big fans of mermaid diagrams.
I love mermaid.
The framework will automatically just generate those based on the steps that you have in your framework. So it's really cool.
Let's look at the code. Let's do it.
Let's do it. And I'm actually Seth going to go ahead and just kick it off here for folks. So here you says this is the little UI I built. So while it's running in the background, I'm going to go jump in the code. But so I'm going to go ahead and upload this deck for Try AI. And so what it is, Try AI is kind of a Iron Man training company that uses AI to track your Strava and your Oura Ring and all your various to be able to give you kind of the best training plan for your Ironman or whatever triathlon you got coming up.
And so this is going to go through that entire process.
Exactly. So while that's running in the background, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys like what exactly is happening step by step. So here and this is really simple. What I did is I actually just I'm uploading a pitch deck file, and there's a Python a library that allows you to just pull out all of the information from a PowerPoint slide deck and turn it into JSON. And we know LLMs love JSON. And so it's just super quickly. And then we're going to feed it to an LLM in the next step. So you can see extract all text content from a pitch deck, talks about, hey, it just verifies that there must be a PowerPoint file, does all that good stuff. And then it hands it over to our step 2, which is our research prep agent.
So each of these steps then is modeled as a function inside of Python or inside of the process, inside of the agent framework.
Yes. So, and there's actually 2 ways to approach this. I did it in that there's kind of a simple way and a more complex way. The simple way is you can actually just model all of these as a function. If you want kind of more customization and more ability to have some control over it, you're also able to actually define classes and then classes to be able to determine each step in your kind of process.
I see. Okay, this is cool. How do you wire these together? Where's the thing that says start here and then call all these other things? That's
a great question. So I'll jump down to the end here so we can actually just see what that looks like in action. And this is very simple, very similar to like directed graph and a workflow process that people may be familiar with, where I'm just saying, hey, here's the start executor, and executor is basically our term for each individual node. And then, hey, I'm going to add this edge to go to the next step. Then I'm going to add an edge between this one to this one. And you can see I've got a whole bunch of edges here. And then I think what's also interesting that is, depending on whether or not I like this company, I have these conditional edges. So if something is triggered, in this case, it's like if I say, hey, yes, I want to invest in this company, it'll then route it to a specific part of the workflow. And if I say, no, hey, I don't want to invest, it'll actually do a completely different behavior. So gives the user a lot of great custom. You can see that here in the diagram as well. I'll zoom in a little bit. It's kind of zoomed out. Oh, I was a little too far. Where it's like, hey, I have this human approver. And then I'm able to then kind of say, hey, yes, and then it goes to the approved handler, or no, and it drafts me a rejection email to nicely let
Can you show me but can you show me the human approver bit? How does it shell back to the human in this case?
Yeah, so I'll go up and let's find that human in the loop step. So
this is cool. By the way, if people are like, wow, there's a lot of code, I am okay with this, because the reality is that these functions are pointing to things like, here, I'll put our faces up as you find it. These functions could be ostensibly pointing to things that are already existing in your systems, right? This is code that you have already written to do certain parts of the job is what I'm in. So, all right, so what are we looking at here?
So yeah, great. That's exactly right, Seth, and great call out. So then we actually have this special class called a approval request that to be able to say, hey, do you approve this analysis, yes or no? And then there's also a routing decision that then takes like, hey, is this, my case is very simple. It's just a simple yes, no. You could add some more complex logic here, but hey, it then sends this approval to the human and then asks me like, hey, do you approve the startup analysis, yes or no? And then it sends that message back to this kind of approval manager. And then that'll let it know which of the next routes it has to take. And if we actually want to see this in action, I'm going to go over back to here to our demo. So I have, so it gives me this little, hey, do you approve the startup analysis? This is the report that the LLM actually generated. So it's like, hey, this is scrolling away from me, but it keeps saying like, hey, this is some great stuff about, this is the overview.
Yeah.
If I scroll down, it's got some competitors, etc., recommendations for success, and then conclusion. It says, hey, it has the potential to redefine triathlon training, etc., etc., etc. So then based on that, I can be like, you know what, actually our fund is investing in fit tech right now. So I'm actually going to deny. Ooh, sad moment for our founders. But I'm going to say no. And then from there, the human decision, it'll run some logic and then hopefully give me a little into the founders to let them know, like, hey, maybe not right now, but maybe in the future. So
I have a sound effect for this. Hold on, here we go. They do not get funding. Not funded.
Denied. Brutal.
This is cool.
And then it's actually nice because then I have a little rejection email that's like, hey, dear founder's name, after careful consideration, we decided not to go with your thing right now, not to move forward. And then I can just copy and paste that into my email and send that over to the founders. So pretty cool stuff.
This is, dude, this is fantastic. By the way, I was looking at that graph stuff. I love computer sciencey things. And so like that was, and I don't know what the right word is. I'm gonna use this word. It looks delicious. I'm just gonna say, right? Because it really puts into context, like, hey, you can make these agentic decisions coupled with decisions that you already have in your current processes, and you can even shell out to a user to make sure, hey, does this make sense? This is fantastic, dude. So where can people go to find out more?
So we have a open source repo on GitHub that I want everyone should go check out. Microsoft Agent Framework, it's what it's called. Blog posts, other developer content coming really soon. And we also have a Discord, a pretty active Discord that we'll link as well. So a lot of great places for people to go access more information about this and interact directly with the team. I think that's what the fun thing has been working on an open source project, is that the team is very much involved with user feedback. And so if there's stuff that you like, don't like, please let us know in GitHub issues, on the Discord, etc. And that feedback will get really baked right into the agent framework.
You know what? And I am excited to get my fingers pruny in all of this goodness, because like this is the stuff I think that really is going to set like development shops apart from people that are not using agentic AI when you're able to do that. Because that thing you showed, I know it went really fast, but effectively you are literally automating a process that takes forever. I got to open the pitch deck, I got to create a summary. But if there's a way to do that specifically when you're, I think it's amazing. Thank you so much for being with us, my friend.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Seth. Pleasure being here.
And thank you so much for watching and learning all about the new agent framework for next-gen multi-agent solutions with my friend Elijah. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care. How about them apples? That was cool. All right, there's some questions. Elijah can come, but Elijah's awesome. We'll have him on for some other stuff. Let me turn that on. My audio is a little hot. Okay, so here's a question. Okay, is Agent Framework working with Foundry Local? I don't know. I think there's some edges, but I'm gonna go figure it out this week, because I actually have to. So for those that don't know, I'm going to be at Azure Dev Summit next week in Lisbon. Make sure you sign up and go. Azure Dev Summit, look it up. And what I wanted to do, and this technology is also new, right? I have a talk on Monday at 3 at Lisbon time, and then I have a workshop on Thursday. It's all day workshop where I'm just going to be explaining how I think about agentic AI, and then so there's like I'm going to talk about some stuff, and then we're going to get some practical stuff in there. So hour talk, hour practical, hour talk, hour practical for 8 hours with breaks, obviously, in between. And so I wanted, my suggestion was like, wow, I don't know what the internet's gonna be like. I don't know how I'm gonna give people access to LLMs. And so I wanted to get to the basic principles. So I'm gonna try to get Foundry Local to work with Agent Framework, so that we're literally like, if the internet's completely bad and nothing's working, people on their own boxes can, they'll have to install the package Agent Framework, right? They'll install the package, and then it's just off to the races working on this thing locally. And I feel bad, right? Because people bring in their laptops. So hopefully they bring good laptops. But I know that my Surface laptop MPU with Phi 4 is really fast. It's actually insane how fast it is with an MPU. And I got like a Qualcomm CPU, right? It's insane. So I don't know, but I have to figure it out this week amongst other things. So there's 2 things I need to do this week. One of them's finished in product for Ignite, which is coming up, and then the other one is this thing. So we're gonna get it done. We're gonna get it done. Richard is saying, is this a live show? I'm feeling deja vu. So we record it. The way it works on the AI show is we actually record stuff beforehand, and then we play it as live. But then we have people come on and answer questions. Generally, when you see it, the recording, it's the first time we've ever played it. In this case, because Agent Framework was newly released, we actually pre-released it so people could watch it, and then I played it here. And then to get some questions. So another question is, a typical workflow is deterministic. How is that mapped to an AI workflow? So the way that I like to think about it is the non-deterministic language to process part you handle through the workflow. Anything that's deterministic, you handle through function calling, right? That calls the deterministic functions. And hopefully the LLM has decided to call the right function. And anything that needs approval has a human approval thing. And that's what you saw Elijah do. And so it's a combination of both deterministic, stochastic, as well as human validation. All put together should make things a lot faster. I'll give you an example of something I hate doing. I think I'm an engineer more than a PM, but I'm a PM and is it dressed as an engineer? One of the things I hate doing is we need to provide updates like almost every day or once a week or all the time. And I hate writing those things. You have no idea. I have to write updates like once a week. It's very sad. And I don't want to. I don't want to write them. So I could actually talk to a thing and hopefully it can write the updates for me. That's what I want. It's a deterministic process that I don't want to do. So maybe I just like say, hey, read my calendar and look at my team's things. Write the update for me. Please. I don't want to do it. Don't make me. Okay, that was the end of my little rant. Okay, so if there's a live show, why am I? That's why, because we released the video. Another questions. I keep going. This new framework will be updated for some certification. I don't know. I don't know. Oh my goodness, Early Dev. Hello, how are you, my friend? Ooh, write durable functions with it. Yeah, here's the cool thing. Exactly. The beauty of all of this stuff, and holy cow, we are almost out of time. I'm gonna put my going away walk-off music. Yeah, the cool thing about this stuff, and something I've always preached, by the way, in the religion of LLMs, is you should use them to enhance your code, not throw out your code to use them. And that's the thing I've always, and now we're getting to a place where it's like, yeah, we're having those things. Here's another one. Would it be useful to have some example spec kit pre-configured sample projects using Agent Framework? Yes, Pablo. Look at everyone's a barrel of good ideas today. A barrel of good ideas. We are not out of time. Internet time is unlimited. Yeah, you know. Not gonna lie, I think you may be right. You know what I'm saying? You literally may be right. You may be right. You're right. Okay. So next time on the AI show. By the way, we have new. Here, let me close all this other stuff because I keep looking to the side. I keep looking to the side. I don't want to do that. Next time on the AI show, and we are excited because we have new. We want to grow up and look more professional. So look at this. Look at this beautifulness. You see that little AI drawing thing? Join us next time on the AI show, October 13th. Upgrade your voice agent with Azure AI Voice Live API with Deb. She's awesome. She has her own channel too. Make sure you go watch that because she puts out stuff faster than we do. We're more of a generalist AI show. And then GPT 4.1 versus GPT 5 with Alexander Hughes. He's been on the show before. He's a good dude. So make sure you tune in for that. Yes. Let's see. Any last minute? Creating workflow with mix of tools is just not easy. No, that's what the workflow thing is supposed to help with. For example, you see things like N8N do a really good job of doing a mixture there of stuff. So maybe this is a good framework for doing that in code. But anyways, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We know your time is valuable, and we appreciate you being here with us on the AI Show. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time on the AI Show next week. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.